Hello guys, how are you? How is your day? Or is your day?
We're starting the day.
Mm-hmm. How was your day?
Mine, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty busy. It wasn't bad. Got another job offer, so yeah, it was good.
Good.
No complaints here.
Yeah. Um, so I thought we could introduce a little bit our relationship, how we came together and everything. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we can discuss that.
So for me, it was actually this crazy. When I'm looking back, I feel like there was like the universe already putting certain constellations together, and I think this is with everybody. If you look into your life and you look back, you suddenly recognize things that have, crossed your path, and then you realize, oh my god, they're like, that was already, the universe pushing you into the direction. You might not have, walked that path yet, but it was already like, the something that was showing you, walk there, walk into this direction. Because when I was living in Berlin, Philip had a piercing studio,
That's right.
and I was searching for a nose jewelry for my piercing, for my nose piercing, and I was, randomly entering his studio, and I thought he was super cute, and I was super shy, and he gave me his contact because he said, "No, I don't have what you're searching for, but I'm gonna contact you if I have it,
I will buy it.
or you will buy it." And he obviously called me. I didn't somehow miss the call. I don't know. Anyway, I went there a second time, and it was, he already sold what I was searching for. But the second time I put up a little bit of makeup and stuff like
Oh, did
that.
you?
Yes.
Guys,
And I
girls are
still was too shy. And
I wasn't wearing makeup.
the craziest part of it all, so, years went by, and like, you see the stories of the people, and I was like, I was watching a little bit what he was doing.
Stalking.
Not stalking, I was like observing. um, and then I planned a retreat in Peru, and the craziest thing was he signed up for the Pilates retreat in Peru. And I was like, wow, does he want to really come? And in the end, I asked him, are you going to come to the retreat in Peru? And then he said, no, not this time, but maybe next time. But that was already where, like, because when I went to Peru, I met this other guy, which I started a relationship with, and I finally went also to Peru to stay it was, after all, 1.5 years in South America. And I'm always thinking, oh my God, what would have happened if he would have come to the retreat? Like,
I'll be holding a candle and watching her with a new boyfriend.
no, I mean, the thing is, the universe has already like pushed us into certain directions, and somehow, it didn't really happen in the end, at that time. And then, like years later, 2018, I read something that he wrote on Facebook, and I was answering to that, and it sounded very worried and hurt, and I was giving him the advice to try to get back to love and light. And then we started to talk a little bit more, chat a little bit more. We made even like a chat date. And then we fell in love while we were chatting on the internet via Facebook.
I was in Cyprus at the time, and Dorothy was in Spain.
Yeah, so it's just so crazy. Like when I'm looking back, there were so many, you know, there were a few do you say intervenes by the universe?
Yeah.
Can you say that?
Yeah, kind of interactions. Something's happened that were,
you know, where you feel like, oh my God, what would have happened? Because like, you know, everything would have been different. Of course, you know, the course would have been completely different if he would have come to the retreat, right?
Well, she picked up her jewelry.
But you know, like in the end, it's just, you know, the way it is. Sometimes circumstances just turn out the way it's supposed to be, and maybe
It's always the way it is supposed to be.
We were not ready in that moment to be with one another, because right now the dynamic is so intense and so perfect, and it's just so growing. And so what for me also was so important in our relationship, to be able to talk things out, to be able to not feel bad because I want to address something or he wants to address something, and just listen with an open heart to what my partner has to share with me. Because when you share something with your partner, it's not a complaint. It means that you are so
aligned,
open. You're opening yourself so much up to this person, opening up yourself to this person, and you're showing yourself in your vulnerable
state. Vulnerable state.
Which means, this means a lot of trust in that person. You have to see it from that point of view. When you are in a relationship, in a very relationship, we are in relationships with a lot of people, but a partner relationship is so intense, has so much intense dynamics. Like with friends, you just walk away and go like, okay, it's not working today, let's see if it's going to work tomorrow, right? But with a partner, you are, you're always, you're always committing yourself to sit down and work it out somehow before you really walk away, So, but what I want to say is if you really make that step and open up yourself to the other person, to this partner in your life, that means a lot of trust. You're trusting you're trusting your partner with this, you're trusting your partner, showing yourself completely in your vulnerability, open, and you trust your partner to be able to give you that space to show yourself in this, openness, in this boldness.
And as a partner, we don't try to solve it. It's not like a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
It's your partner trying to tell you how they're feeling, or what confusion they might have, or there's a million things that can be going on, So you've got to give the space.
Yeah.
You have to give the space.
So this is really, this is also the art of interacting in a partnership, right? Like giving the other person the space to be, to be in its,
to be themselves.
Yeah, to be in whatever they need to express or however they need to, show themselves, in what way ever. Giving the space for that. It's so hard because we feel many times very personally attacked. Of course, I mean, we are human beings and we easily feel...
Because our mind takes us back to a point where we were being attacked, and it's straight away it's like, oh, it's that point again. And as the partner now, you shouldn't feel personally attacked, even though I must admit I do sometimes and stuff like this.
Everybody.
We all do. But when you actually just listen with an open heart and an open mind, there might just be this person's calling out for help.
Yeah.
And there needs a little bit of help because they're not understanding something.
Yeah.
So.
It's there's a beautiful story on if you search Miguel Ruiz on the internet, and it's called The Man Who Didn't Believe in Love. In love. And it's a beautiful story about a man who is...
it's on Netflix, right?
No, it's just a story. Miguel Ruiz he has a lot of books out there. One book is called The Mastery of Love. Beautiful book. It's not very thick, so you can use it as a Bible. I really recommend to read it or go on Audible and find it. The Mastery of Love and the Four Agreements, also awesome.
Yeah, the Four Agreements are really an amazing book. They make sense on so many levels. Yeah. And it all comes back to you.
Yeah, and the fourth agreement, actually, there are like these 3 agreements. And the fourth agreement is actually always try your best. You're trying to stick to these 3 agreements, be impeccable with your word, and don't take anything personally and things like that, right? But we are human beings, so the fourth one is just do your best. Always try your best. Like at the end of the day, you have tried your best, right? So this story of the man who didn't believe in love is about a man, and he is very intelligent, and he is not putting this, this kind of like, this phrase out of love doesn't exist. No, he goes like, okay, it's because, love is based on ego, and most people love only with their egos, and it, like, he is very right about that, right? I mean, what is really love in this world? Like most people expect something from the other person. We want to... We want something in return.
Don't get this confused with unconditional love, because that's the one that you don't want anything. You're just happy for the person being the person. So there's a big difference between unconditional love and love.
But many times, the love that we have in this world is based on, what can I get from the other person, and it's very subtle. Also, when you look into
friendships, relationships, everything.
Relationships, yeah. It's not even personally, It's not that you have to take that personally from a person, right? They're not aware of it, because we are growing up like that, Like we give love and we want something in return. Even if it's just, that you want to be respected, or if you want to be
I'll go
loved,
I'll go even
or
further. I'll go even further with a perfect example that's easy for everybody to understand. We're walking down the street, we say good morning to somebody, and they don't say good morning back, and we feel, oh my God, he didn't say good morning back. This is a perfect example. You should say good morning to somebody without even wanting them to return the good morning. You're saying it because it makes you feel good.
It makes you feel good. It feels good inside of you. It's nourishing your inner universe. What, the other person, that's, their universe. But my universe is nourished, is full of beauty, is full of light, is full of love.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say is that, like ego love, it exists in this world, and we are very much programmed on ego love, and no judgment on that, but it is as it is. And so this man, he decided for himself that love just doesn't exist. He held a lot of
Experiences.
he held a lot of talks about it, and and he was convincing also a lot of people on on this topic that love doesn't exist. And then one day he was sitting in a park, and there was a woman sitting next to him on the bench, and she was crying, and he was like, "Why are you crying?" And she was like, "Well, I just found out love doesn't exist." And she was sharing her story with him about her husband and how disappointed she is about her husband, and like what we all have experienced in our life, right? Like, because experienced in our life because we
We're expecting.
we are expecting, we all expect something in return, and we are so disappointed if the other person doesn't like me, or doesn't love me, or doesn't respect, or worship my love, or whatever it is, right? So this man was like, wow, there's another person who also believes the same in the same things that I believe. And so he started to feel very connected to her, and they started to have a friendship, and they started to even finally come together as lovers. And then he realized actually that what they started to have together, because they had had these experiences before, they didn't expect anything from one another. They didn't feel they needed to save the other person. They didn't feel responsible for the other person, because they were responsible for their own, they were owning their own responsibility. And they didn't expect that the other person is responsible for the other person's love, or liking, or making them feel good. Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful story. The story goes on, which is like, if you read it, like, you should read it. But this is what I really understood from the story. The story has an end that's very interesting. So everybody who listens here right now, find the story. It's called The Man Who Didn't Believe in Love, from Miguel Ruiz. So the end is very interesting. Actually, it's again a change.
We will also write this in the comments down underneath when we finish, so you can actually find it.
But this is actually something that is very interesting, right? Like, if you find someone and you are actually responsible for your own universe, you are responsible for your love, for finding your happiness inside of yourself. Nobody else is responsible for that but you. Nobody else will ever give you happiness and love. And like, yes, Philip wakes up next to me in the morning, and the first thing that he says every morning, "I love you so, so much." And this is so nourishing for me. But it's something that he says, and he has this feeling inside of him. "I love you so much" is something that he has inside of him. If I wouldn't have love inside of me, and I wouldn't believe him, it would do nothing to me. It wouldn't touch me at all, because another person can say whatever they want to you. If you don't have this spark inside of you, it doesn't reach you.
It doesn't resonate.
So it's nourishing for me, because I have love inside of me, and my love is is resonating with what he is vibrating over to me. But we have to find the love inside of ourselves. We have to fulfill us inside of ourselves. This is how we can radiate out beauty, love, light.
Yeah, you don't need. A lot of people are like, oh, my other half. There is no other. You are whole in yourself. Yeah, and if you're loving you, you're loving everything.
You have the yin and the yang inside of you.
And this black and white doesn't mean good or bad or good and evil. It's not like that. It's just like day and night. We wouldn't have night without day. We wouldn't have day without night. It's just the way it is.
Yes.
It's the perfect compilation of the both. You know? So maybe that's something you can also think about next time when you meet someone. Is he filling some hole that you think is empty inside of you?
Yes.
Because then it's gonna only take an amount of time probably before that guy's or girl's not filling that hole anymore. You know, so find it in you, and you find it it's everywhere.
Yeah. If you're waiting for someone to fulfill you, you are
Gonna wait for a really long time.
Yes, and you are making yourself dependent on the other person and on outer circumstances. This is not a good position to start with.
And this is not really love, neither. This is more of a dependency rather than love.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've all gone through it. We've all had it. It's not like it's
because
this is we're starting to notice certain things.
Yeah.
That's all.
Because also this is our programming. This is our society. Look at the films that you can watch. You know, like even as a child, you know, what are you able to, you know, what is put into your brain? All these fairy tale stories, everything. You know, they are all going into the same direction, that you have to find your prince. Like me now, or you know, like the you know, little boys have to find their princesses, and it's, you know, like if you know, you're searching and searching for this other half to fulfill you and to save you, and then they lived happy ever after, right? This is this is put into our brain, you know, like it's you know, this, all these conditions to be happy are, you know, they are programmed into us. How are we going to be happy? Because when we find our prince, then we are going to be happy, right? And I'm happy with my prince. But because I am, you know, I am happiness inside of me, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
All
right.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. So it's really important to find you.
Yeah.
Through you find everything. There is no door. There is nothing blocking you at all. Nothing at all. When you start loving you, you're gonna be so amazed by how many people are gonna be found loving you as well. You know what I mean? Until that happens, we change partners and all kinds of stuff, which is totally okay. It's totally okay. It's not like, you know, it's not like it's not okay. We've got to seek and you will find. Do you know what I mean? But maybe we should do the seeking. Well, I can make up what I want. But so back to seeking, you will find. So we keep looking and looking and looking, but we're looking externally, not internally. So if we start looking internally, what we feel like we're missing or whatever, you're going to end up filling these holes that we think that we have, because we don't have holes, we don't have anything like this. We don't have no doors blocking us. The only thing that blocks us is ourselves and our beliefs that are probably put into our brains from before we can remember. There's one guy who said, excuse my French, but rules, bullshit rules, right? Find the real rules and what makes you really happy, and then all these doors and locked doors and keys we're looking for are non-existent. You know what they have in the Buddhist can I say, like Bible or teachings? The gateless gate. Have you ever heard of that? The gateless gate. So, can there be a gate if it's gateless? No. It's the gateless gate. So, the doorless door. Do you know what I mean? There's no door if it's doorless, or there's no gate if it's gateless. So, you've got to stop putting up these blockages inside of us or looking for somebody to take away the blockages, because this is like the self path, the self-realization you have to go through, and everybody goes through it. And when you do go through it, it's funny how you meet somebody who's going through it or been through it or connected, and you just connect with people. So really, it's like we've got to start looking inside of us and also heal us before we can start healing other people. There was another thing that was said when I was young and it really stuck in my mind. It's like, look at that guy trying to pick the toothpick out of your eye when he's got a forest growing out of his. Do you know what I mean? This is the one thing that we do a lot. We're always like, you've got a forest growing out of your eyes and you're trying to take the toothpick out of the other person's eye.
Yeah.
Let's heal us, because when we heal us, the world is healed. If everybody healed themselves, the whole world would be healed.
Yeah, and because, once we have healed, like all these aspects inside of ourselves, like there is a completely new perception to the outer world.
Everything changes.
And we are the creators, like in the Indian culture, they say Brahma closes his eyes and the world goes out of being. Brahman opens his eyes and the world comes into being.
Brahma is the universe.
And this is actually something that is very, very true.
Is there also
You can, even in the quantum physics,
you can also do it yourself. You close your eyes and it's just darkness. You open your eyes and everything is there.
Yes, but it goes even further in quantum physics. You have really, like, they have meanwhile discovered that it really happens like that. It's not only because it's not there for you anymore. It's
different.
Like this whole scenario that is around us just exists because we are in our brain creating the pictures that are happening around us. Otherwise, it's a whole space of probabilities, a whole space of atoms, and in this space all probabilities
anything
exist.
Can happen. Yeah, and any chance of anything can happen.
It's like, it's mind-blowing for me. If you go deeper into quantum physics, you go like, oh my god, like it's crazy.
And there was a thing with quantum physics, if you're not really knowing about it, that they were firing with nobody looking, it's like a gun firing an ink pellet, and it was, when no one was looking at it, it was hitting the same place. And when someone started to look at it, it started to move and create shapes, and probably different shapes for every person who looked at it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like this. We are the creators. You think of beauty and nothing in your mind but beauty or partner or money, and you just think about that, that is what will start to unfold in your life. Troubled relationships happen because we're worried or we're not trustworthy. We're not trusting ourselves, which is bringing it upon the partner to become untrustworthy. Do you know what I mean? If we could actually just like wipe everything that we've been taught and start again with the mind we had when we were babies, the whole world would be different. It would be amazing. It can still be amazing now, I'm not saying, but we've got so many things going on inside our minds which make us doubt or worry or, oh my God, or you could just be with this fear like little kids. They're not scared of the dark. Until we tell them there's a boogeyman, they're not scared of the dark.
They
can
think they
sit
can fly
in the dark. Yeah.
Kids think they can fly, and they have no fear at all. Like, I'm flying.
So this is something we can start watching amongst ourselves. It's like what this is a little thing I can say you can do if you want. Really good, because it's about the growing of yourself. Have a piece of paper with you for a whole day and just write down the thoughts that come into your mind. Not even saying if they're negative or positive or anything like that. Just write them down. And then before you go to bed, actually, because we have so many thoughts that happen during the day, read through those thoughts of what you had. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to be amazed with the things you thought about that day. Do you know what I mean? So imagine if you could make all those thoughts into a positive thought or positive thoughts, how positive and how fast your life will become positive. This is manifestation. They talk about manifestation. I want to win the lotto. I want to. Oh, I've been trying to win the lotto for the last 10 years. Yeah, but you're not really believing it. Do you know?
And you're not ready.
Beauty, love,
energetically
beauty, love,
not ready.
beauty, love, and you just pump yourself with beauty and love. You will have beauty and love in your life. It's this easy. It's really this easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're doubting me, I'm no guru or something like this, or anything like that. It's the same as everyone else. It's the same as you and him and the neighbour. And start to notice things. Start to notice things that are coming into your mind and what you can even, if you want to even go deeper, when you write something down, write down also the emotion it's causing, and you will see in one day how many times what goes on inside your mind.
Or you take your phone and record it. That's faster than writing down. Sometimes people just don't have the time to write it down.
I mean, yeah, it's a little notepad. I mean, if you don't have the time to be able to write down, it's like people with yoga. They're like, oh, I don't have time. You don't have time for yourself. So if me, Philip, doesn't have 5 or 10 minutes for himself, what kind of day am I having? You can jot it down even in shorthand or whatever, just abbreviations of what passed through your mind and what feeling that created. If you do this just for a day, and I would love you to post it on our page, because it's unbelievable. It'll shock you, the things that come into our minds and the reaction we have to that. Because this is another thing about life too. The mastery of life is all about the reactions we have with what's going on around us. So if you start to master your reactions, you master your life. And I'm not saying I'm there, so don't get this wrong. These are things that I'm putting into practice, and I'm seeing huge differences. Do you know what I mean? Like, huge amount of... We've just been doing this grateful thing we're on about the 8th day, and it's so unbelievable how my whole mindscape's changed. Normally when I'm driving a car, I'm a little bit of a race for something. Oh, look at this idiot. I'm not even doing that anymore, and this is just 8 days after doing this gratefulness. It's just like... Or I'll catch myself and go, oh, Phil, what are you doing? So yeah, if you can do that, find the time for you. Find the time for you. No one's going to find the time for you. And yes, we do have hectic lives. I drive 1 hour to get to work and 1 hour to get home. So I've got even less, and I work 12 hours, so there's 14 hours of my day. And still, I find the time to sit here with everybody for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on our conversation that we're having. Why do I do that? Because it's important to me. It's important that I change my view on any negativity I have to turn into a positive way of life. Because I'm thinking positive, I'm living positive. It's this easy.
And I can also advise you to talk about it, speak it out loud, start to talk with people about mindset, about positive things, because when you talk,
if you feel uncomfortable to talk with amongst your friends, because sometimes you're talking with friends and they're like, they just don't get you, write us a message. God, we're here so we can all discuss and grow together. Write us a message and say, you know what, this and this has been going on, and I'm not going to see it one-sidedly, or I'm going to see it from a person who's sitting right outside of that box. And go, okay, so what's going on? And this is what I learned with my CBT therapy, that when you're in a situation, it looks a lot different to when you're sitting up above the situation. Dorothy's mentioned this before. When you can pull yourself away from the situation, you're definitely going to come up with solutions. And probably really good ones too. 'Cause you're
But
not
what I wanted to
personally
say
affected.
is like the more you talk in a positive, in a positive sense,
Environment.
with a vibration of love, light, happiness, joy, it's gonna
Influence.
implant
Oh yeah, implant itself
into you,
And
into your
influence your
soul.
way,
Your
influence your way.
soul, your soul is becoming this way. Like it's really a transformation inside of you when you start to speak it out. Like express it. The more you express it, talk with people about it, the more
you're
you
gonna
become
change
it. You embody it.
Yeah. There was
So-
also with I spoke about him once before, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I see him as a New Age Jesus because he heals people. In our mind, we have like these neurons that fire. So, just like smell, like I said once before, that you could be somewhere and it'll be maybe, I don't know, apples that are dipped in toffee, so toffee apples, and it reminds you of your first school fete when you were like 8 years old and you smelled it for the first time and you ate that first candy apple. So, as smells, this happens inside the brain. So, when you see something that reminds you of something that happened that was in a bad situation, it will make you feel like that, and your body cannot realize that that happened 10 years ago. So you all of a sudden you're like palpitations, feeling not comfortable and tripping out because the firing's going on in here. The firing's going on in here. The body doesn't say, oh, but that's just a memory. It doesn't say that. It's just, oh my God, I'm in that situation again. Fight or flight, run, do, run. So start to notice what's going on inside your mind. Going on inside your mind. And then you can start to dissect what's going on and change the thought process. Okay, because we're pretty much, this Joe Dispenza also said this, that pretty much by the time you're 35, you're pretty well set in your ways. I agree to disagree. Even today, I'm changing the way I've been for so many years. And if I can do it, you definitely can do it. Because it's just the way it is. If one person can do it, everybody can do it. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is. You know what I mean? That's just science. It's like that. So you can change your thought patterns and make yourself have beautiful days for the rest of your days. And for me, this is what it's all about, perfecting life.
Yeah. So catch yourself. Try to catch yourself.
Yeah. It's a great thing you'll be doing for yourself.
And turn it around into
And you will see also
positivity.
with relationships, when you start doing this kind of thing, your relationship, we're not talking about just a partner love, I mean also with your family and it's things like this, relationships will change because you start to love yourself, and now you're not needing that love, external love from somebody else, you're loving you. So you're an abundance of love. And this is how we can change the world. We can all, you just have to heal yourself. When you can heal yourself or even start moving towards healing yourself, you're going to see huge differences in your everyday.
Yeah.
Even like, people like, oh, but bad people come into your life. Of course they do. Of course they do. Who's to judge what's bad?
Yeah, what's
But
bad, right?
What is your reaction?
It's more
is
like,
the whole thing.
I wouldn't say like, because
No, I'm
bad
just saying,
and
because
good.
we normally
I know
say
what you mean.
bad, yeah.
But, if you see it as, uncomfortable, there are uncomfortable people that are challenging you,
My
Sometimes
daughters
you
challenge
could,
me.
Yeah, and sometimes
I
you
love 'em
could
to
say,
bits.
like, I'm going to take the challenge and I'm going to learn from that. Or you go like, oh, it just, I just don't want this,
Yeah.
It's just making me,
Or maybe I'm just not ready
after
for it at the
some
moment.
time of challenge, you go like, I don't need that anymore, and then, okay, I'm going to try to go into a different direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's not really bad and good. It's like, it doesn't feel comfortable,
Yeah.
And that's a
And normally
decision.
our-
I'm going to go out of my comfort zone or not.
Yeah.
Also, nothing
And our
right or
comfort
wrong
zone,
about it.
actually, our comfort zone, which we have until most of our lives for some people, it's not really comfortable. It's really not comfortable, So when we start going out of the comfort zone, we start to realise what our real comforts are. So this is really, like, oh, you see things black and white. I see things black and white and a million shades of grey. And without black, you won't have white. Without white, you won't have black. And a million shades of grey won't bring you closer to the white and closer to the black. It's not even about this kind of thing. It's about something makes you feel uncomfortable today. Wonder why it makes you feel uncomfortable. And then, yeah, like I've done, dig that little seed out that makes you feel uncomfortable and say, okay, I'm starting again like a 5-month-old baby or 10-month-old baby. And I'm going again. We see it with the kids we're around. Especially Jody, I see you there. You've got all these lovely little kiddies around you. So you see how they act. You see how these children act because they don't have a fear. They don't have this crazy mindset, or can or can't do, or this happens over after 5 years old when we start to feel like we've got to fit into some kind of community. When kids are young, they don't want to fit into anywhere. They just want to get what they want to get. So, yeah. Maybe it's time we switched off this way of thinking and be feeling like we're not going to fit in. Because everyone fits in just as much and is just as much love as everybody else. This is really important.
And what I wanted to add is, like, kids, they want what they want, what you said, and for them, they have the right to get it. There is no question if it's like right or wrong. They are like, I have the right to get what I want.
Yeah.
It's like so clear.
And you also have the right to get what you want. Remember that. You also have the right to be loved, have the right to love and get what you want. But you have to change your mindset if you want to go in this direction. You have to start changing the things that you've believed all your life that aren't serving you anymore. And start bringing things that do serve you into your life.
So I would say we go on tomorrow on that topic, because this is very interesting to go into that deeper, like, what do you deserve? What do you allow?
Deserve everything.
What do you allow yourself to deserve?
Well, this goes to another thing. We have to discuss that tomorrow, because a lot of us feel like we're not worthy and we don't deserve. And this is one thing we definitely have to break through and realize that we're all loving people and deserve to have love, and also to pass love on. Not that we're needing it, because we found it in ourselves.
So we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not scared, No risks they don't have to prove, but they're happy to improve.
Oh, yeah.
They have a wonderful... Yes, this is totally
true.
It's so true, Jody. This is that's beautiful. It's really like that.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you so much for participating. Awesome.
We'll put that up. We'll put that up on our little film.
Everybody who's in Australia, look at the sky and look at this beautiful moon. We have a full moon tonight. Oh my God, we should celebrate that. Everybody celebrate the full moon. Mother Moon. All right, we love you so much. We're so happy about your energy, about like watching us. It's so awesome. And we send our love to you. And
we're going to discuss what we deserve tomorrow.
Yes.
We'll definitely go back into this, because it's this is a major flaw we have as humans, feeling that we don't deserve. We deserve everything.
What does she write?
She wrote terrible spelling. It's totally fine.
You're awesome. Okay, we love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night and look at the moon.